Hello everyone to today's edition of Master Mentors interviews, right? Where we actually interview high-performing individuals, right, on high income, high fulfillment, and really high performance, right, in what they do. So today, right, we have Mr. Zachary, right? I think some of you might have seen him, find a bit familiar, right? So he's the CEO of the Next Level, right? And he's actually founder of this methodology, I would say, called the Underdog strategy, right? Which I have Zach to share a little bit earlier. So what Zach does, he specializes working with SMEs, right, startups, right, entrepreneurs to rapidly scale, right, the business structure, like through numbers, right, strategy and systems. And I think together with his team, right, he has grown to about, I think, combined revenue of more than $30 million, right, in just a couple of years since he started his entire journey, right, into this space. But yeah, I think with that, I'm excited to have Zach on to come on to share his strategies, systems, and mindsets. But yeah, man, Zach, welcome to this interview, and share a little bit about yourself before we begin for the rest of today's interview, man.
All right, thanks, Mark. So very glad to be here, first and foremost. And so like what Mark has mentioned, I'm actually the CEO of Next Level. And key thing is that actually main thing is I enjoy playing business as a game. So whatever game I play, I hope to win. So I think whether is it Next Level as a company, scaling, growing a company, it's a very fun process to me. Helping other small businesses. That's where we started the Underdog strategy. So generally just enjoy playing this game of business and helping companies win, especially small, medium companies, because I feel that at MNC level, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of resources. They don't have to worry about that, you see. But for the small time players like us, right? We got to be a little bit more strategic in the way we do things. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I do.
Yeah, when Zach says small time, the small time different, different level for but yes, okay. So I guess the first question, right, is what made you get interested in the whole world of, like, let's say business, right, professional growth, personal development, where you really got to the space of consulting and then of course being the CEO of Next Level. What got you started in this entire space of being in business, right? You share a little bit about your journey of how you got started in the first place.
Actually, well, this one really depends how far you're gonna go back. But I would say that from since young all along, I enjoyed business. I enjoy the idea of making money. All right. So just to be very upfront and direct, so being Asian parents, they tell you, oh, go be a doctor, go be a engineer, go be a lawyer, and things like that. And after that, I went to think about what is more powerful than all of these things. Right then, I realized, well, the most powerful guy is actually not the lawyer, not the doctor, not the engineer, but the guy who hires all of this, which is usually the businessman. So after that, I told my parents, like, hey, I'm not going to do all this, study all this thing. I'm going to start my business. And then when I start my business, I'm either going to be I mean, this is a very extreme young chap kind of talking kind of thing, but like I'm either going to be a beggar or I'm going to be a billionaire, right? So I'm like, okay, so around then, after that, right, I started plotting my path straight to that path. So which means it's like around JC, I started studying things that's related to business, things like econs, which is actually technically useless in the world of like in university, because there's no course that requires econs as a thing, but it teaches you about the real world and things like that. So I studied econs. I dropped a lot of my other subjects like double science and all this. Then they're like, why do you do that? Then I'm like, oh no, because business don't need all these things. Business only need one math and that's it. So I was kind of very I was quite clear on what I wanted to do since young. I want to do business, just don't know which business yet. So even from before I went into army or before I went into in between my jobs like internship, I'm always like, I have this new business idea. Then while people will go for like some cool internship or some nice bank to work at, I'm like in between uni, I'll be like, okay, I'm thinking of starting a cafe, because cafe is the cool thing at that point of time. So during my internship, I went to work at a F&B cafe, which everyone's like, why? But for me, that was me doing my research on the business idea that I had. So after working at F&B, no lah, guys, no. But so basically, I went to research on all my business ideas. So all along, I think business was a thing, but because of that got me ended up in the role of sales in insurance, because I realized that, I think Robert Kiyosaki said, right, if you want to do anything, the first thing you need to know is the skill of selling. So I started selling insurance. I believe that if you can sell insurance, you can sell anything, right? So I sold insurance. After that, I'm like, oh, okay, great. I had a decent run at insurance, and then I actually went to so I started my own company from there. So like, okay, after that, but then I kind of got stuck in I got sales, but I had no leads. So I went to learn digital marketing. And that got us to where we are right now, which is when you do digital marketing, they'll market the most profitable or the most in thing at that point of time, which is seminars. And yeah, and that's how we got started on the rabbit hole where I am today now.
Yeah, and I remember like the first time my professional job as a digital marketer, right? Zach was the first person that really taught me, right, to help me out, to give me the step-by-step strategy and guides, right? So I still remember all the way since about 2 years ago, right? But I'm gonna go back a little bit to the journey, right? Like, was it a very logical decision for you to just say, okay, even before JC, I'm just gonna work on business? And was there any like doubt or like uncertainty, right? Or do you think that it was just to you was just a very logical decision, and you really didn't think of any other options at that point of time?
I think for me all along very clear I want to be a business. I want to be a business owner. I want to start a business. The only thing is I don't really know how. Like there's no, so which is why I went to learn. I went to study business. I went to NUS Business School, hoping that they teach you how to start a business. Which sorry, they teach you everything except that, you see. And in fact, they teach you how to get a very good job. So yeah, so I realized that there was no real way of learning how to start a business. Then at the point of time, insurance company always say, oh, this is like running a business, right? They always, that's their angle. So I went there, then I realized that this is running how to sell something, but it doesn't really teach you all the things about business. So in fact, that's why the second company I went to was a startup. It was a digital marketing startup. And only then that's where I came in, I saw the world of trainers, I saw the world of speakers, I saw a lot of all this young one-man team, two-man team. Then I realized that, oh, you can actually do that. So I think the environment kind of shaped me a little bit as well and taught me how to start a business, at least in this sphere. So I mean, right now, if you ask me to start a tech business, I'm like, I still have no idea how. But if you ask me to start a seminar, education, or speaking business, it's like, straightforward. So I think that was kind of it.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is, as of course, there's a lot of you really know what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? I think that's one big lesson that like Zach is talking about, where you know what, like for example, tech startup, you don't have experience, you haven't got to that space, don't go and assume that you're going to get good at it. But for Zach, right, in his area of expertise, right, genius, right, in the education, seminar, training space, right, then he knows he can go all in. So, but I guess regarding your journey, right, from being uni, right, and wanting to do business to insurance, right, doing a startup and doing what you do right now, right, what do you think was some of the biggest challenges, right, or even struggles, right, you felt that you faced, right, or even biggest mistakes, right, and how do you manage to overcome them over the few years when you're first starting out, when you're still not so clear, and of course not to that level of knowledge, right, you have right now? Like, what do you think of the biggest challenges and mistakes you made at that point of time, and how do you address them?
I think okay, I mean mistakes a lot. I think but I would say a few challenges that I faced was because you realize that, like what I mentioned, because I want to start a business, so I always do my research. So I had the idea that, okay, before I start my business, I need to raise capital and kind of have my savings and all. So I actually went to work in a job, whether it's selling insurance or in the startup to do the learning stuff. So but it comes to a point where after that you have to make a point where I can tell you that there was a real point in my life that you're like, okay, do you want to continue this for the rest of your life? Or this is, you said you're going to do this, right? Is this what you're going to do? Are you going to quit and start? So that was around 31, I think, when I was like 31 or 32. So around once I hit 30, I'm like, okay, like how Jack Ma say, like 20 plus, go find work, work for a good boss, kind of learn the stuff. Then at 30 is where you really kind of like start to hone down, focus in, right? And at that point of time, I have to like, okay, it's either now or never. Okay, so I decided to now lah. So I quit and then I started my business. So that was a huge challenge for me. And then immediately after I did that, right? Because we are so used to working with colleagues. So when you really leave and start, the first thing was like, wow, I have no office. I have no one to. Wow, there's that sense of loneliness. Like, oh, what should I do today? Like, in a way, you can do anything you want. You're free. But at the same time, there's so many things to do that that I really didn't know where to start. So yeah, which is why eventually I joined a mastermind, and the mastermind kicked my ass and got me to take action now. But I think that was one of the biggest challenges that stopped me, because there's, as you start doing it, it's very easy to start getting that comfort zone. Like, hey, actually this is decent. I was kind of a relatively high position in a startup. I could have just stay there. So that was one thing. Another challenge, right? Another challenge. Another challenge would probably be like I would say, or mistakes, I would say is that I think I realized that how big your business grows and how far your business goes really uh is dependent on who you hang out with, or who you the environment that you mix with. Okay, so I from fearful to getting out, it was my environment. How big my business grows is also because of my environment. So your environment shapes you more than you really know. So what happened was that a few things. Number one, when you're starting out a business, if you're scared, you're not sure, you always go find a partner or find people to work with. So if you don't find the right partner, then also very hard to grow a business, right? Or when you grow a business, it will be the one that's holding you back. Or another thing is that while building a business, there will be a lot of other partners that you can work with together as well, right? You select the right ones, your business grows. You select the bad ones, it might be not very nice, or sometimes it's not that they are not nice, it's just like, oh, they have a different value and vision from you, so things get a bit slower and you waste time, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but they just, yeah. So I realized that, wow, whether is it the partners, the teammates, the founders, the people you work with will really, I mean, but there's no shortcut to this lah. It's your biggest mistake or your biggest blessing, I would say. So yeah.
Oh, nice. I love it. I think I live the one environment, right? Because who you hang out with, right? Then automatically you grow, you get different perspectives,
Yeah.
right? And I think number one, when you talk about, it's a more lonely journey than people expect, right? People always think entrepreneurship is damn sexy, right? There's a lot of media, as you know, right?
Yeah,
They make
yeah.
it very sound and whatnot. And I think what you did, right, was when you said when you were 30, when you're at a crossroads, right, making a decision of being comfortable, right, versus just pushing yourself out there and being in a comfort zone. So I guess I think mentioned really a bit about the topic of fear, right? So besides environment, right, like how did you address those uncertainties or those fears, right, personally, right, when you're still starting out, where you haven't got the momentum yet, and how you advise some of the folks that might be a bit afraid, right? Should they even do the business in the first place, right? What should they do when it comes to addressing the whole concept of fear, either as a aspiring or even a beginner or struggling entrepreneur?
Okay, so I think with regards to the fear thing, there was two kinds of fear. One is the fear of new things, right? So that one was really just I mean, that one was really, there's nothing can prepare you for this, for starting out, especially if you're an employee coming to become an entrepreneur. So nothing can prepare you for it. You just got to be in the right environment, have the right support group, support system, a bunch of people that are fellow entrepreneurs, ideally, then they'll kick your ass and tell you to do things. And then the thing is that you just got to do it. Not because you will get results, but you just got to do it to get past the initial inertia, right? You have to do that. Then I think after a while it gets rolling very fast and quite straightforward. So that's the I'll call the external, or the fear of the unknown. The fear of the internal, I think with regards to this, right? I number one, because thankfully, because I had I worked somewhere before. So actually I was kind of confident about what I can do. So internally I was very secure, very like, I know that my idea will work. I know that my concept will work. I just need someone to take a gamble on me, right? And in fact, I mean, right now, I'm with the Next Level, and Next Level was not the first person I approached. Interestingly, in fact, there are some people kind of approach me. I approached some people, ding dong here and there, and actually, yeah, a lot of them, they gave up on the idea, or they're like, oh, this is not something that we are focusing on right now. So yeah, so I just needed someone to take a gamble on me, because I know that it will work. You see, so that one, I think that there was no fear in that thing, because I was very confident about the thing, and about myself, because I've seen it happen a few times already. So yeah, Next Level, Shanxia was the guy who, crazy and like, let's just try this guy out. And and of course I rewarded their faith for it, and so did the rest. But I think there was a fear of whether there was a fear of internal. I think because I did my homework, I did my groundwork, I worked in a previous company for 4.5 years, and I think that helped to elevate a lot of my if I didn't have that experience, I didn't have the selling experience in my insurance company previously, I didn't have the digital marketing experience previously, I think when I start, I will have more fear for sure. But now that I came out and like, okay, I can do marketing, I can do operations, I can do sales, I can do speaking, I can do everything, I was like, okay, there wasn't that fear. But the fear of the unknown, that one So environment was my secret weapon.
Yeah, and I love the, of course, the problem environment. But I think what I got out of that was also, I mean, number one is you just recognize that the fear of unknown will always be there, right? Just because it's new, right? You don't try to overthink it, you don't try to overanalyze it, you just think about how can I address this, and just understanding is just breaking the whole inertia resistance, right? And then number two, right, is I think you started focusing on what you were good at, what could you be certain about, and then you operate that from your space. Because if all we thought was to think about uncertainty all the time, right, we're going to like really just screw up and just waste our progress, right, for a long period of time. Yeah, and I love the perspective so far. So next question, it's a bit of a side question, right? Just I think it'll be interesting for some of the folks over here. So technically, right, some people say, hey, Zach, actually, you're not really an entrepreneur because you went through, right? You're with another company, right, of sorts. Yeah. So I guess, like, what was your mental model, right, of choosing, okay, do I just do this on my own as a consultant, right, as an entrepreneur, right, versus, right, you actually partner with a company, right? You might not be the founder, but you became a partner. Like, what was your mental model? I think there'll be a great mindset for some people to have, that you don't really need to stick to one particular area for a point of time. Why don't you share a bit of your thought process when that happened for you?
I think the idea of, it depends why people want to be an entrepreneur. Like they think it's a very sexy, they get to be the number one. But at the end of the day, to me, I just want to build a business and I want to build it big. Okay, so any business you build to be big, you need to have a team. And it's very funny because you will think that, you start yourself, you're like, you're the boss, but very quickly you will need to have a team. So you will definitely be a part of the team. Either you're the one leading the team, someone's leading you or you're leading a team, but you will definitely be a part of it if you want to do something big. If you want to do something small, you can be a solopreneur and get away with it. So when we're talking about playing the game of business, obviously play a big game, play a fun game, it has to be big. So I was thinking, what's the fastest way to be big, right? So number one, I can train up people. I train up several managers and stuff like that. But I can tell you, training up managers, it's tough. It takes a few years to train up, and then just one. And then if you want to run a big game, play the big multi-million-dollar business game, you need a few managers. All right. So first you can do that organically, slowly. Alternatively is you can partner with someone and grow their managers for them and things like that. Because I work with an existing team that's already there. So that's what I did with the next level. So actually I consulted for the next level first. I was just one of the external consultants, consulted with them, grew their team, grew it big. And then thankfully, this is also the importance of finding the right people to work with. The founder at that point of time and their CEO, Sean, saw my ability to lead, to grow the team, to take it to the next level, literally. So he was like, hey, why don't you come and lead the team? That's how so in a way, basically you need a team. You either grow your team or you leverage and use someone else's team. And if the person, once again, importance of partners, if you find the right person, the person really smart enough to know you, right? This person will like, okay, come, let's put him as the leader role. So yeah, I was lucky enough to find that with Sean. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the lesson they can take away from that is don't marry the mechanic, right? That means know what do you want, and then don't try to think or try to like overthink that it must go a certain way, right? So for Zach, right, obviously it's like, hey, he found a partner, right? It resonated, and then right, if that's going to help him get to his intention way bigger, way faster, right, in a more effective manner, why not, right? And speaking about partners, right, just a quick part is, what are some of your thought models or mental models about, like, or what do you look out for when it comes to finding the right aligned partners for you?
Okay. So here's okay, this one is art and a science. Okay, I mental model. Since you talk about mental models, right? I'll give you a few ideas that I have, and then you play around or you edit this. Okay. So basically, right, there's a few kind of partnerships. I believe there is what I call the Superman and Lois Lane kind of partnership, right? Where Superman, right? So I mean, Superman is like the very shining guy, and then Lois Lane is the support system behind, right? So if you find this, they complement because Superman is the guy saving the world, but then there's Lois Lane, the normal the human, not superhero, supporting him, things behind it. That's one of the mental models. One of the type of partnerships that I find that works out quite well. Okay, so one guy being the superstar, one guy being the supporting person, and the supporting person must be okay to not get, let's say, the glory, and the person must enjoy playing the role of a supporter. So that's one. The other mental model is the Superman once again, and the Wonder Woman. This they are like, you realize Superman and Lois Lane is like that, right? The top, the bottom. This is like the foundations. Wonder Woman and Superman and Wonder Woman is like they are both like they're equals. They do exactly the same thing. They support each other. They are equals. They maybe have different skill sets and things like that. But yeah, they are both the superhero superstar. So yeah. So this is another mental model I have. If I find, I'm like, is this person a kind of a Lois Lane to what I do, or am I the Lois Lane? Am I the one supporting Sean, the superstar and stuff like that, right? Or am I the, are we the equals? Are we doing both the same thing? So I think that helps me to figure out how to best support, or what is the missing piece that I'm looking at. First, this requires a lot of what Gary Vee calls the self-awareness. You must know what you're good at, right? Are you the Lois Lane? Are you the Superman? Or are you the Wonder Woman and things like that? So that's number one. And number two is that I realized that the best kind of partnerships are those that complements, right? But complementary things are very complementary things are, it can look very different. Okay, complement, it can look like complementary stuff are usually, sometimes there's a certain degree of opposites to it, right? So it can be like you can, if you don't complement properly, you end up conflicting, right? So the question is, how do we know whether this partner or this person with they're complementary or they're conflicting? So a mental model that I use again, which is this idea of what do you think is the complement of fire? Mark, what do you think?
First thing in my mind is water, lah, right?
Yeah, right. So I also, at first that was how I thought so as well. So fire, right? So fire, when complement, normally people think of the opposites, which is water. So if fire and water work together, wow, man, it's going to be like fighting here and there, fighting here and there. But if you ask me what is a complement, a better complement to fire, right, would be I would say it would be like the wood, or would be wind, right? Where too strong a wind, yes, it will blow out the fire. But if it complements correctly the wind, right, it can blow it, make the fire even bigger. So this is a complement. So yes, there are cases where it can overpower, then that's it, right? Like water. But water and fire, no matter how you go, these are opposites, right? So you need to find someone. So what does this mean in theory for us, right? It means that we need to find someone that is able to bring out your strengths, amplify your strengths. Yeah, then these are truly complementary, and watch out for your weaknesses, right? I think those are complementary. But if it's opposite, whoa, it's going to be a hard going thing. So some of the tools that I found that has been very, very helpful. Number one was wealth dynamics. I'm not sure if you all know of this test. Wealth dynamics, it tells you who complements you, and it also tells you who is opposite of your style. Yeah, so that is one very useful tool for partnerships, because really, I tell you, partnerships you can make or break. Okay. Then the second thing that I think helps for those who already have partners to work together, right? Especially those that are a bit complementary or conflicting. A book that was helpful was Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. Right?
Yeah.
Gino Wickman, right? So it talks about the role of the integrator and the visionary, where it talks about complements. But yeah, I mean, these are some of the mental models that I have and some of the resources that help. Of course, there is no, it's an art and a science, I can hear it. So yeah, but I really hope this helps some of those people who are finding their
I love it. I think this is like a mini masterclass on partnerships, right? And I love it's either you choose, right? It's self-awareness, right? Do you want a Superman Lois Lane? Do you want a Wonder Woman Superman? And would you rather be the Superman? I think I love that models, right? I think those two, I think Wealth Dynamics was a great one to get more self-awareness, right? And of course, Rocket Fuel having an integrated and visionary, right, to come together, right? From that, man. That's like mini masterclass, right? Just with this few minutes alone, right? I love it. So I guess next question is just to share a little bit more about how did the idea of Underdog strategies come about, right? And why are you so passionate about it, man? You share a little bit, right? What's your thoughts, right? And why is being an Underdog strategy such a and I do understand the point about why did you start that, right? And what are some tips, right, for folks from there?
Okay, so it's interesting you asked me this question, because if you asked me this question 1 month ago, right, I have given you a different answer. And in the last 1 month, I had a new enlightenment kind of moment that brought me to the next level. So okay, so why strategy, right? So previous 1 month ago, you tell me all along, I'll tell you that I love strategy, right? Since young, I play strategy games. I do all the strategy board games. When people play soccer, I'm looking at the strategy rather than looking at the goals and things like that. So, but the recent thing that came about, because my company have CCA days, so we play badminton, we play floorball and things like that. And suddenly I realized one of the things that I suddenly realized, right, was that when I played floorball, because floorball is my strong spot. Okay, my strong spot. It is my, it's for some reason I was never trained, but it became my strong spot. And then when we were playing there, right, they were like, okay, guys, okay, Zach, you're the strategist. What's the strategy for floorball? Then I'm like, no need strategy one. We just go and play. We'll win one, don't worry. Then they were like, what kind of plan is that? That is very unlike me to say, right? But that's because it happened to be my area of strength. I was so strong in floorball that it's like compared to the rest of my colleagues and players in the company, I'm like, I no need strategy one. I just go and we did win. Right then after that, I realized that I only came out with strategy because I'm weak in many areas. That's why I need strategy. So then that's where I realized that when we were playing with badminton, once again with national school player, the kind of level like Sean Xia, it was like, hey, wow, we had a lot, 1,001 strategies to try to beat him. So my conclusion was that you only need strategy when you're weak. Then after that, when I said that line, I was like, that's why since young, I was constantly coming out with strategies. Because I mean, look at me, I'm not the biggest guy, the tallest guy, the fastest guy, the I'm quite a slim guy by default. And for me to get myself into a position into a soccer team, right, I had to strategize. When everyone's kicking with their right leg, I was training my left leg. So I became the left winger or left striker by default, right? So that was my strategy to get in the soccer team. When everyone was doing this, and then because if I know that if I match them at what they are good at or how the traditional people play, right, then I have no position in a team, or I will not be able to match them in performance. So my strategy is always the left field, the think of the other direction of how I can get my place in a team, how I can play, how I can play them, and then win them. Right. So after a while, I realized that, oh, that's a very sad thing not a sad thing, but just a very funny thing to realize that, oh, cause been in a weaker position most of the time. But actually, you can say, by the way, I don't say in a kind of like inferiority complex, like, oh, I'm weak. But the truth is, every time when you start, whether you start a business or you are starting something, you are usually, let's say today, if I'm an established tennis player and you're the first time starting, you definitely to figure out some strategy to beat me on. Because if you play me at my strength, you will lose to me. So every time I start something new, or I play a new game, or I try a new interest, then I'll start to like, okay, I'm at a disadvantage here because I'm new, right? How do I strategize to win this chat? So yeah, so that totally explains how my whole life has been about strategy, because I've been trying new things. And yeah.
And do you realize, as in do you think that if that's the case, I think one core strategy, right? And I know strategy, like I think that was a freaking unique perspective, right? That you only need strategy when things are weak at or you're starting out, right? But do you feel that eventually, like your end goal, your intention is to find what are you so freaking good at, in your case, let's say like floorball, so that eventually, right, you can just like not say cruise by, but just really excel in it, right? To the point that you might not need a strategy. Do you think that that's what people should go forwards, or it's like it will really depend on different situation and your preferences as well?
I think I mean, that would sound like the dream, but I can tell you that no matter where, let's say now I'm very strong at floorball, right? But if you put me in another level, like in the national team player level, I'm quite certain that then that's where I'll be weak again. So you see, I think I see things from a very mental model. I see things from a very dynamic thing. Like, just because you're strong at this doesn't mean you'll be forever strong at this, right? That's how companies fall, right? Nokia was strong and then it became big. So things are constantly moving. So the aim is how can we constantly stay in the strongest position, right? I mean, you're strong because you're playing at this level, at this moment, at this point of time. But let's say you can say, oh, my company as an SME is big, right? It's bigger than most of the SMEs. Okay, fine, yes, I can outmuscle them with my marketing budget and stuff like that. But once you put me into the next level game, let's say with all the MNCs or all the people who have bigger marketing budget than mine, right? Then then once again, we are the underdog. So it really, I think the exciting thing here is dynamic, knowing that things are constantly moving. Number two, the attitude of growth, like, hey man, just I'm strong here, then okay, let's go for next level. Let's to think that you can find something that you're good at. Like, I only discovered floorball when I was 17, 18. That was pretty late in life, I can tell you that. I only discovered my ability to systemize things when I was 28, 29. Okay, so I started in the business. Then, I mean, strategy has been a common theme, but one of my key strengths, which is systemizing, I only discovered it in 28, 29. So if you think that, let's say, for example, I thought floorball was it, right? And then I became a champion floorball player, I would have realized that I had this skill in systemizing and scaling and growing businesses. So I don't think the aim is to find like one thing and then like, oh, this will be my forever game. But the idea of keeping your mind open and yeah, learning new things lah.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned, the word dynamic, right? That is never a stagnant thing. Because stagnant, they end up like comes like Nokia, right? Which die eventually, right? So it's really about constantly growing, right? That's important to you. Then always recognizing that your strengths can be dynamic and to watch out for that as well.
I think this is a bit of a growth mindset versus fixed mindset issue. Because the fixed mindset issue believes that, okay, there's a few things I'm good at and then I'll just stick to it. But the growth mindset thinks that, oh, there are things that I can grow to become good at. Of course, there are some things that are more painful for you, right? Like I'm never going to be able to be a Chinese teacher. I honestly think so. If I want to, I think I can, but I just need to really, the amount of effort to the reward ratio, like, right? But it's that growth mindset that if you realize that, then you realize that things are constantly moving, things are dynamics. And maybe my greatest strength, because now that I know, like, systemizing, maybe my greatest thing, I might find it when I'm 40. I never know. But right now, at my current point of time, scaling, systemizing, growing businesses, this is my strength. Yeah.
Nice. I love that perspective between the growth and fixed, right? So, and I guess the next one, talking about like being an underdog, right? Also usually means that you have less resources, right? You have less money, right? Time, talent, right? Whatnot. You have less people helping you. So what is your approach towards the word called resourcefulness, right? But I think that's a very powerful term, right? That people talk about all the way from Tony Robbins, right, to strategy. So what's your thoughts about this word resourcefulness? How we actually approach it for, let's say, a business that's starting out or still not as big as where they want to be, right? How do you actually approach that in, let's say, your own company or some of the clients that you consult as well?
So with regards to resourcefulness, interestingly, this is a concept that is very relevant for entrepreneurs. I never learned about this word until my previous founder, my previous boss because I was working at a startup. Then it's like, hey, it's not a matter, because being this kind of employee mindset, it's like, I can't do this. I need more budget, I need more resources, I need more. Then it's like, it's not a matter of resources, it's a matter of resourcefulness. And that was like wow, it takes a while for me to continue. I'm still also learning and seeing things as well. But at the same time, I think with regards to resourcefulness, right, one of the cheat codes that I use to figure this thing out is that I try to think of what's the first principles. Elon Musk always talk about first principles, right? So what's the end objective? Because if you use the same you need X amount of resources to hit your end objective, your first principle, the thing that you want to achieve. And what happens is that normally people will have X amount of resources and they use it across the standard traditional format, right? So for Elon Musk building a rocket, it's like, you need to go through the NASA. If you did the same way, then it will cost you don't know how many billions of dollars, right? But then after that, he first resources, he's like, I want to build a rocket. How much is a rocket? So he went there, he went to dissect the thing. Actually, cost of metal, cost of this, cost of that, actually add up is much cheaper. Right? So because of that, he took a different route, and the different route actually arrived at a much lower amount of resources that you need. So I mean, that was first principles thinking. So in fact, I give you an example in my life, and this has helped me a lot. Because last time we said like, we only got $500 to I mean, this is an example. We had $500 to get X amount of leads, right? So in the world of marketing, you know that $500 you can't get a lot of leads on. Maximum, let's say is if it costs about $10 for each person to sign up, or $50, then your $500 you will get what? 50 leads? 10 to 50 leads, which is not a lot. But then with that $500, I needed like 100, over a few hundred sign ups. So it's like, it's impossible, right? So after that, but what's the aim? The aim is the first principle is number of leads, right? And I got $500. So with this, we're like, okay, hey guys, we're going to give away a lucky draw, $500, right? Whoever sign up for this thing, you get to go for this, and then you might even be the winner of this $500, right? Then we just blast out email and things like that, and that ended up, we had a few hundred signups. So that is way more than the $500 if we done the traditional route would have gotten us, right? 10 to 50 leads versus a few hundred leads. So I thought that was an example of first principles, and this thing has, I mean, even up to right now, I got to keep asking myself, what's the first principles? Why are we doing this? Rather than just blindly following the process. Like, oh, I got $500. How to get more leads? Let's do marketing. Let's do digital marketing. Like, what's the end? And then if the end is results and leads, then we just think out of the box. And I think just to add on to this, this was also a lesson that I relearned during the Stanford example. I think there's this Stanford lecturer where she gave everyone $5. I think same thing, $5. Okay, go make earn how much, earn the maximum amount with this $5 note. And then they realized that the people who got stuck to the $5 note, tried to buy and sell using a $5 note, they didn't earn a lot. But those people who saw like, what is the end objective? And then they focus on end objective. They discard the $5. If $5 is a distraction for them, end objective, and those people earn much more. So yeah, I think that was for those people who are interested in the book. It's I think what I learned, I wish I learned when I was 30 or before I was 30 or 20, something like that. It's quite a famous thought experiment. No, not even thought, a real life experiment from a Stanford lecturer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think boils down to first principles, right? But a few things that can really take out of it is don't stick to the traditional methods if you really want to think from being resourceful, right? And I think what you said is don't go and keep into all those constraints, right? Because those are distractions, right? What is really what you want, and what's the best ways to get down to it, right? Instead of trying to think of whatever that's been going on already, man. So I freaking love it, right? From a space of how to constantly do more with less, right? Especially for startup entrepreneurs where you don't have as many resources. I think can really help to expand your growth in the long term as well. All right, so I guess moving on to the whole space of self-education, seminar training, right, which we have been for quite a couple of years. So I think this is a classic question I like to ask folks. You probably have heard me ask a couple of times during interviews. I'm sure you have observed a lot of like participants, right, students, right, people in the space. So what do you think are some of the biggest differences, all right, from folks who achieve the biggest, best, craziest amount of results and those who are still stuck, right, not really in the area of like, at least based on your own personal observations in your career?
Okay, so I would say there's generally two thoughts that they might seem as conflicting, but it's not. It's you can hold. There's this guy, I don't know who, some Fitzcart guy, who said that you can the sign of intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in your head at the same time. So one of the things that I realized that people who succeed the most, right, the first thing is that they have an open mindset rather than a closed mindset, right? So whether because to succeed in this world is constantly changing. So you cannot hold on to your old traditional mindset. You got to keep upgrading your growth mindset. You got to keep upgrading your mind, upgrading your topics, upgrading your way of doing things, right? So like I think previously last time, they were investing in stocks, and right now it's like investing in crypto and things like that. And in this space, there was a lot of people that was pushing back and things like that. And they were like, no lah, this is a scam and kind of thing. But you see, this idea of a scam and a traditional thing, everything before it became traditional was a scam, right? So there was the internet, which was a scam, but now internet has become traditional, right? Emails before that, last time they were like, this is a fad. Then it became now it's the standard mode of communication. So the important thing I realized that all the successful people are usually made on the turn of the trend, right? So the guy who made the internet usable, that guy became rich. The guy who managed to make sense of the internet, Google, Facebook, these people. Then the guy who made before that, a lot of people was doing what environmental car, all this, but it didn't take off. The guy who made it take off, Elon Musk. Yeah. So basically, the guy who is in charge of changing the trend, right, will become successful lah. So, but to change the trend means you're not in the current trend, because the current trend is oil, gas, the standard stuff. So I think to succeed, right, that open versus closed mindset is very important. If you're closed, it's very hard to succeed in the next world, in the next era, in the next trend. Yeah. So I've even for myself, I'm like, why is this crypto thing? Okay, come, let's figure out. Then when everyone was like, oh, this NFT is a scam. Okay, why is this? Come, let's figure out. I mean, I'm not endorsing it. I'm not against it. I want to be open. I want to learn. That's number one. So open and close. But the second thing, this is the second idea that I think some people conflict with, is that focus versus distracted. Because sometimes you can be so open, then everything you try, right, then end up you being very distracted with it. So I see a lot of seminar people, they jump from seminar to seminar because they're always going for the next shiny object, right? So shiny object, the thing is that the next thing that might help you might be the next shiny object. So there's nothing wrong with the shiny object. But no matter what shiny object it is, right? For it to succeed for you, you have to you have to focus on it. You have to go deep into it. So yes, going deep into the wrong topic, then that's a bad thing. But you have to be open. But once you find it already, you got to just go in deep. So I think so that's why I feel that the most successful people in the seminar space or in that topic, or they are usually open. They have an open mindset, right? Yet they are focused on they're like, okay, this is it. Then they go all the way down. The people who don't, number one, they're close because they just don't bother about this is a scam. They keep dismissing it. And sometimes because of they keep dismissing it, they also don't dare to go deep into it. That's number one. Number two is even they're open, then they keep jumping around. They're like, oh, there's this. Then they become level 1 of many things, but success is found at level 10 of something, right? So I don't know what is that thing. It might be the next thing, but success is found, I feel, getting to level 10 of that thing before anyone gets to it. So let's say, for example, right now, I'm just using a current example, which is NFT. If NFT right now is so new, right? So it's still a scam, it's still a new thing, it's still required. But let's say you decide to go deep into it. You're the first person to reach level 10 there. Then when it transits there, then you're like, oh, I'm the established guy there now. So I think, yeah, open and focused.
Yeah, and it just boils down to what we first said, right? Which is that being able to handle both conflicting ideas at once, right? Being able to be, number one, open, right, in terms of different ideas, testing out, exploring, while going deep at the same time, right? How I would interpret it, right, is of course you want to go deep once you found that one or two things that you really feel that works, right? You are good at it. You feel that it's something that works for you, but still being open to test out new ideas every now and then, right? Whether is it like once a week, spending 2-3 hours just to go explore. If not, you just keep very close to your own space, right? And then you won't get open to different ideas as well. But I freaking love it. Holding two ideas together, right? It's conflicting, right? People might not, and once people get to start to understand that the world doesn't work in absolutes, right? But just balance between two seemingly contradictory ideas, right? That is when your mind expands, right, to a way higher level as well, man. But I think it also links very nicely to probably my last question, right? For today, right? I know time is a issue. But so in today's business world, let's say in the seminar education training space, right? Whether is it someone who has already been in a space, someone who's an aspiring entrepreneur, a side hustler, right? What are some of the trends do you feel that most people should be taking notice of right now, right? And how can they leverage of it? Obviously, now in this period of time, right, it's April 2022, right? Now in Singapore, you can move out, you can go physical, but people are still used to digital. Like how you go on that, or is there other trends you're looking at that people, you really feel that people should start taking a look at right now?
Wow, trends. This one always requires you to look forward. So trend spotting is I feel that because of COVID, right? A lot of businesses went online. So I think I try to look at the principles that help them to go online. So okay, a few trends I'll say. Number one, I was looking at the NFT craze and things like that. I'm not saying that NFT will be the topic, but while studying into NFT, I realized that there was one thing that was very big in the NFT, which is community. And the community. So you see, I'm not talking about the item because the item can change. You can change the way that NFT, but the idea of the community, right? Successful NFTs have successful communities, tight communities, a very supportive, encouraging community. While previously, last time we talked about communities, but last time communities weren't very I wouldn't say they play such an important part as right now. Rather, whether a project takes off or not in the NFT world really depends on the community. So if you ask me one of the trends that move forward, I would say community is a big trend. The guys who can build and lead a community will be the most powerful guy, right? Previously, last time was because I was on social media, it was eyeballs, influencers were last time on TV was celebrities, right? Then after that, it became influencers, right? Social media influencers. I think the next stage, right? If you ask me, that it will be the community leaders, right? Community leaders where I feel that this role is not out yet, or maybe it's out the role of a community leader. But as big brands, as they start going to building their own community, they will need the person who can build community well, right? That person will be the most powerful person. So I mean, you just think back, right? Digital marketing. Last time, maybe 5 years ago or 5-10 years ago, everyone is like, oh, marketer, 4 Ps. You know, it's a very traditional marketing. Digital marketer is like, what? But right now, the hottest job you need to get is the digital marketing. Because if you don't know digital marketing, you're gone, right? So, but you see, what happens is that if people start studying digital marketing right now, 4 years, 5 years later, when they graduate from, it's passé already. So if you ask me to plan forward, I'm just seeing what are some of the things that help the current trends to boom. Is usually community, whether is it trading community, investing community, the Robinhood community, the NFT community. The community is not talking about the item, but the principles, some characteristics is community. Another thing I think seems to is worth exploring is the idea of the metaverse, right? So metaverse, yes, once again, is related to NFT, but you see, NFT is just the item, but it's the principles and the ideas behind it as worth it. So what happens behind the NFTs? What NFTs did to the metaverse is that they ask exactly when did we is metaverse a place, right? You know, is it Meta the company? Is it Facebook? Is it? But after that, I read this article that said that metaverse is not a place. It's not a place, but rather a point of time where you spend more time. Like how do I know whether I'm in the metaverse? Is it because I'm logged into Facebook? There's this decentral land for me to walk around and things like that, or is it that this article says the moment you are into a metaverse is that when you spend more time on your screens, on your phone, on the internet, than you are in real life. Then that's where you know you transited into the metaverse already, because most of your stuff is done, you know, on your online. So that makes me realize that, and it's true, we can see that last time people read newspaper, people go meetings now, and because of COVID lockdown and stuff, majority of they do their interactions in the online space, in the meta space and things like that. So if you ask me, the next big opportunity out there will probably be something in the meta space out there, metaverse space. And it's exciting because I feel that the metaverse is like, it feels like the internet. Like 10 years ago, the internet is just like, it's just a mess. You don't know what is it, you don't know how to navigate it. And I feel that the metaverse is right now a mess as well. And while internet was a mess, a few people came up to construct the internet as we know it today. Mark Zuckerberg, Google, founders of Google, things like Instagram,
Amazon,
things like, yeah, this kind of thing. So right now, the metaverse is a mess, and it's the best time for Jeff Bezos, right, for the internet space. So right now we'll see a new bunch of people that will construct this metaverse in a way where we like in future we'll be using the metaverse as the idea of what they see lah. So lots of space, and in fact the space is so wide that I also don't know what to do with it. I think if you ask me, the trend is metaverse, and because the metaverse is but humans at the end of the day, they are still social creatures. So I feel that this community and this metaverse, two ideas, this will be the big idea for the next 5 to 10 years, I would say. Yeah.
Nice. I think those are some deep insights, right, into the space, right, of what to watch out for, right, in the coming years. And I think back to again what Zach mentioned, right, is to be open to those ideas and then deciding what you can go deep on, right. I love personally on the part of community, right, because I think that is when a lot of ideas come together, right. There's a whole huge word of mouth, right, that's going on, right. But metaverse is something for me personally I should get yet to go deep. But then again, some people can really say that we are already in the metaverse. We are already in the metaverse. The fact that you're doing a virtual interview already considered, right. So I think that's something for me to think through a little bit deeper.
Can I just add on to that? So the thing is that what happens is that the trends will come and go whether you like it or not. It's just how we interact, right? So what happens is that, let's say for example the internet. Right now there's 3 types of people. They are the users, right? The users, you use Facebook, you use WhatsApp, you're just the user lah. You are the consumer of it. Then there are the second type people who are the partners. People, if you're a person using Facebook to run your business, if you're using WhatsApp to do your business, if you're Instagram, you're an influencer, and Instagram is the way you use Instagram to get your money, you're a partner of it, right? And then the last type of people is that they are the creators. They are the guy who created Instagram, the guy who created Facebook, the guy who created WhatsApp, the guy who created Amazon, and things like that, right? So same thing in the metaverse right now, because it's so blank right now. You want to be a creator, you can be one of you can be the next Mark Zuckerberg, that you're the next key creator of the metaverse. If not, there will come a bunch of 5 to 10 people that will create something in the metaverse that will dominate, right? Then you'll end up with the other two. You either be the user that just like, oh, things happen already, I just use it. Or you can still partner together with these people, use their concepts to run your business and things like that. So yeah, you either be a user, you can be a partner, or you can be a creator, the guy who creates the metaverse.
Nice, I love it. User, creator, or right, a partner as well, right, for this space. Yeah, with that, I think we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much, Zach. I think this has been great, right? A lot of things, even for me personally, to think about. I think this was a mini like masterclass, right, in many different topics. But yeah, I guess I think last question is any last words, right, for folks out there, right? Let's say entrepreneurs, like hustlers, right, that's trying to get to grow in this space. And I think where can they find you? And I think we have a mini surprise and gift, right, for our viewers as well.
Okay, last words for them is I mean, because it's your community, I really want your community to succeed, right? So I think the biggest secret that I learned in the last 5 years of doing business, right? Or the fastest way, I mean, succeed or not can come in many forms. It comes from the size of your community and things like that. But I think size of your community, the impact that you deliver, things like that. But all in all, one of the things that is important is still amount of money to make, right? Because money is not everything, but it's one of the key things that help to sustain and grow and stuff like that. So one of the secret shortcuts that I can give you guys, or the most valuable thing I can give you guys in terms of money is the idea that we have many ideas, we have many businesses that we want to start. We have the fastest way to get paid the most for it is to take your skill, whatever skill you have, apply to the audience that will pay you the highest amount for it. Okay, apply your skill to the people who value you the most, and they will reward you a lot. They will pay you a lot for it. So I mean, you can use the skill, and your skill is the same skill, you see. But if you apply to someone who doesn't value you, then of course they'll pay you a low value because they don't value your skill. But if you apply your same skill to someone who values your skill highly, they will pay you a high value, which is a high amount of money. So I think this is if you understand this, it will find the person, the partner you work with, the audience that you find, the target market that you serve will change completely. All right. So that's the first thing. Second thing, a little surprise together with Mark is that, yeah, so actually I'm actually launching a book. I have a upcoming book that's coming out. And I told Mark that, hey, I really want to support his community in all the entrepreneurs and the business owners. So this book is about teaching how I help businesses to scale and to grow, and how I build teams, and how to be efficient, and how I use numbers to really because there's many things that you can work on in your business, right? So most of the time you don't really know what to work on. So using numbers, I kind of track which is the most important things, the switch to flip. And every time I mean, I did it for a few businesses. Every time I flip the switch, then they started growing 5 times, 10 times. So yeah, so we are giving away 25 books for all the people on Mark's. If you're watching this, you can claim. Just email to Mark, and let him know, and the first 25 you'll get a book from me. All right.
All right, thanks Zach for this. I think you can check out the book, right? I think that by the time the interview is published, you'll send a link, right? You can drop me an email if you want the book, right? Completely for free for the community. But yeah, man, if not, I think thank you so much, Zach, for this interview. I think we went through a lot of different ideas that people can just stick, right? 1 or 2 ideas you can apply it, right? You can really level them up in multiple areas as well. Yeah, if not, thanks again, right? Thanks for the folks who are watching. I'll see you soon. Drop me an email if you want the book from Zach. And thank you again, Zach, for this wonderful interview. Right? Thanks, folks, and bye, guys.
Bye.